Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Austin here, or Luna, coming at you with a new video today. Sorry I didn't upload yesterday. I was a bit sick. I'm fighting something. I'm not sure what it is. I'm okay, though. I'm not, like, super sick or anything. Just a little bit. But yeah, I took the whole day to just, like, sleep, which is probably why I feel better today. But yeah, today's story, it's a good one. It's a wild one. It's a crazy one. Before I get into it, I dropped a new song recently. It's called Backseat. You should go check that out if you haven't yet. If you have checked it out, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you. And anyway, yeah, let's get into today's story time video. I was on the verge of laughing that whole intro. I just watched some stupid Insta reel before I started recording this, and it's been stuck in my head for like a good 5 minutes now, and I can't get it out. So if you hear me like smiling while I talk, that's why. Okay, I just waited like 5 minutes to like really snap out of it. I'm good now. Anyway, today's story, yeah, let's jump into it. So today's story time all takes place back in the year of 10th grade, high school. Now, as many of you know, if you've been watching the channel for a while, that was the year a lot of things happened. You know, that was like a lot of story times took place, right? And most of them involve me being an idiot, but this one involves somebody else being an idiot. So today's story time all starts off as a regular day back in 10th grade. Now, I get up out of bed. I was running super late on this morning. I remember I was up like literally 10 minutes before the bus was going to get to my house. So I had to like quickly get dressed, put deodorant on, didn't have time to shower, felt disgusting, brushed my teeth, didn't have time to eat anything, got my backpack, and I ran out the door. Now my bus pulls up. I get on the bus. I get to school, and because I didn't eat breakfast, I went up to the cafeteria because they were serving breakfast, and I got this really, really mid bacon, egg, and cheese. And yeah, I sit down with some friends of mine because they were also eating breakfast, and we're just hanging out, right? And one of the friends at that table, we'll just call him AJ. AJ was a pretty good friend of mine. We didn't hang out very much outside of school, but in school, we were definitely pretty close. And, I enjoyed hanging out with AJ. But if there's one thing you should know about AJ, is he wasn't the smartest cookie, okay? Now, I'm not calling him a complete idiot, because that's mean, but he didn't always use his brain before he would do things. And while we're at this table, right, eating breakfast, he opens his backpack, and he goes, "Yo, Austin, check this out." And he opens it super wide, and then he grabs this tray of cookies out of it, and he shows me, and he goes, "Look, they're edibles." He says it super loud, and I was like, "Yo, put them back. And he puts them back in his bag. And I was like, "Motherfucker, you can't say shit like that out loud. Like, there's staff right there." And I pointed at one of the security guards. And he's like, "Oh, shit, yeah, my bad." And I was like, "Yeah, you're good. But anyway, why do you have those here?" He's like, "I don't know. I just wanted to bring them. Maybe some friends could have some. Do you want any?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." He's like, "You sure? They're not that strong." I'm like, "Nah, I'm fine." And then my other friend speaks up, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take one." And he eats one. And I'm just sitting there like, "Yo, you're in for a wild ride," because I've been there and I've done that. And, 99.9% of the time, it was a bad time. So I don't know. I didn't like the idea of it. Anyway, yeah, we sit there at the lunch table for a little bit, eat breakfast. After that, we all go to our first period classes. And for the first half of the day, the school day, things were normal, right? Nothing really happened. Now, fast forward to my fourth period class. In this class, I sat next to AJ. Yeah, we didn't have assigned seats. It was one of those classes where you didn't have to, be sat by the teacher. You could just sit wherever you wanted. So yeah, me and AJ would always sit in the back left corner of the room. It was like a super cool spot. It was right by the window. We had some other friends around us as well. It was a nice little spot in the back of the classroom, right? Now, me and AJ got to class around a similar time, and we both sit down, and I look over at him, and he looks absolutely fried. Like, he had definitely eaten some of those cookies. He looked fucked up. And I said that to him. I was like, "Yo, dude, you look destroyed." He's like, "Do I really?" And he looks in his little phone, reflection, and he's laughing. And I was like, "Bro, you gotta put some eye drops in or something. Do you have any?" He's like, "Nah, man, I don't." And I was like, "Bro, your eyes are so red." He's like, I know. I don't know what to do. And he was kind of freaking out about it. And I was like, "All right, you'll probably be fine. Just say you have allergies or something if someone asks." So class starts, right? We were in English, by the way. And my English teacher, she was cool, right? She's doing her thing. She's teaching. And about 20 minutes into class, AJ goes into his backpack, pulls out a cookie, and starts munching on it. And I look over at him, and I was like, "Yo, are you eating another one?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "How many of you had today?" He's like, "3, counting this one." I'm like, "Bro, you're already so fucked up looking. You gotta chill." He's like, "Nah, man, I'm fine. Trust me. It's really not that strong." And about a minute into him eating it, right? He's eating it kind of slow. He hasn't finished it yet. The teacher notices that he's snacking on a cookie. And she goes, "Oh, you brought snacks, AJ?" And he's like, Yeah, I guess so." Now, usually Most teachers would not let you eat in class, but luckily our English teacher was very cool. And she was like, oh, cool. Yeah, that looks good. Looks homemade. Enjoy it. And after she says this idiot, AJ, reaches into his bag and pulls out the container of them. And he's like, yeah, they are homemade. And then he puts them back in the bag. And she goes, can I try one? And I look over at AJ and I'm giving him this look of like, you fucking idiot. Why would you show her the container of them? Why didn't you just like keep eating the one, finish it, and then don't show her the rest? Now, this was a very simple answer he had to give. She said, can I try one? All he had to say was no. And he would save himself a world of issues. Would she be a little pissed that he's being stingy and, not sharing his cookies? Probably. But you know what's going to piss her off even more? When she finds out that she was just fed a weed cookie without anybody telling her. And you know what he says? Instead of no, he goes, yeah, why not? And I look over at him again. This time I'm looking at him like, yo, you fucking idiot. What are you saying? And she starts walking over and he opens the container and he hands her a fucking cookie. And she doesn't eat it right away. She walks over and she puts it on her desk. And she goes, I'll try it after class. So now I'm like, okay, he has a window here to fix this, right? Like she's not eating it right away. He has some time to undo his fuck up. So as soon as she walks away from our desk and she goes back to teaching, I look over at AJ and I was like, bro, you have to fix this. You need to make sure she doesn't eat that cookie. He's like, well, it's too late, bro. I don't know what to do. I'm like, dude, she's going to eat it. She's going to get high. She's going to freak out. Then she's going to think, hey, what did I eat today that could have done this? She's going to think about that cookie because that's the only thing she ate all day that she didn't buy or, bring from lunch. And you are going to be fucked. Keep in mind, I'm whispering this, obviously, so I said that out loud. She'd hear me. And he's like, dude, like, I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what to do. And I was like, all right, listen, class isn't over for a while. We have some time to think, but you got to do something. You got to make sure she doesn't eat that. Even if you steal it off her desk and run out the classroom, that's going to be way better than her eating it. And he ends up putting his like head in his hands and he looks super stressed out, right? And it didn't help that he was stoned, right? Like if he wasn't so stoned, he probably would have thought, to do the right thing to begin with and just like told her no when she asked for the cookie. Anyway. So after this, right, after she goes back to teaching, after we have this little conversation, I'm thinking, right, because clearly he's very high and his brain is not only high, but also stressed out because he just gave a weed edible to his teacher and obviously he thinks he's screwed. So I was kind of doing the thinking and I had this idea and honestly, it was fucking genius. So our English teacher, she had a nut allergy. She was allergic to peanuts, right? And I look over and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I fucking got it. He's like, what? I'm like, bro, just tell her there's peanuts in it. Before she eats it, just be like, hey, there's peanuts in that. I'm sorry. Can I have it back? And he starts like freaking out. He's like, dude, like, can you do it? Like, I'm too nervous. Like, I'm too freaked out. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, can you talk to her at the end of class? Like, I'm too freaked out. I'm like, fine. So class ends, right? Fast forward, the bell rings, and she's about to go over there and eat that cookie. So I quickly walk up to her desk. AJ's right behind me. And I walk up and I was like, hey, super sorry we didn't say this earlier, but that cookie, it has nuts in it, like peanuts. And she's like, oh, yeah, I can't eat that. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, he forgot to tell you. And I pointed to AJ. And she goes, that's okay. At least I know now. And literally, as soon as I'm about to reach down, grab the cookie, and give it back to AJ, the teacher assistant walks in. Yeah, our English teacher had this assistant that sometimes would, like, sit in on certain classes of hers and help other students around the room that needed extra help. She comes in. She's probably, like, 25, 30 years old, somewhere around there. She comes in. And the English teacher holds the cookie up and goes, hey, do you want this? I can't have it. There's peanuts in it. It's homemade. AJ made it. And she goes, oh, sure, I love peanuts. And she starts fucking eating it. And me and AJ both look at each other with just the look of like, oh, shit. And she's munching on it, right? And she's like, this is really good. I don't taste the peanuts, though. You want to know why she didn't taste the peanuts? Because there was no fucking peanuts in it. You want to know what there was in it? Weed, THC, whatever you want to say, right? So after she eats it and thanks AJ for the cookie and tells him it's very good, she walks out of the room, right? And so do we. And AJ looks over at me, now that we're like in the crowd of people in the hallway that are all moving to the next class and we can be loud. And he goes, dude, I am so fucked. And I was like, AJ, maybe, just maybe, she won't feel anything. You said they weren't strong, right? He's like, yeah, not strong for me. Dude, like, I don't know how she's going to be. Like, I don't know if she has a tolerance or not. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man, but just play it by ear, okay? It's too late now. Unless you want to go tell her the truth, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know. And he's like, I'm fucked, man. I'm just so fucked. And then he asked me some crazy shit. He's like, can you go up to her and tell her that there's THC in them? I was like, okay, and then what? You get expelled or suspended because you're the one that made them? And he goes, well, what if you say that you made them? I was like, AJ, are you fucking insane? No. He's like, dude, I've gotten in way more trouble this year than you have. If I get caught, I'm getting expelled. If you get caught, they'll go easier on you. Plus, like, your mom knows people at the school and stuff. I bet you'd get off really easy. I was like, first of all, fuck no. Second of all, the only reason my mom knows anybody at this school is because she's here so much talking to my principal and the security because I get in trouble so much. So no, I'm not about to get in trouble again. I've already helped you way more than anybody else ever would, bro. I already tried to get you out of this and like, it didn't work. I'm sorry, but I can't do anything else. And that was the truth. I had already done way too much, way more than I wanted to do. I didn't want to go up to the teacher and have to like lie to her and say there was peanuts in it when there wasn't, just to try and get her to not eat it. I was only doing that to try and save her and also save my friend from getting expelled or something. Cause like, I just didn't want to see anyone get in any kind of shitty situation, right? So I tried to help them both. But at the same time, like, I didn't want to get involved. I didn't want to do that, but I felt like I had to. Anyway, the rest of that day goes on, right? The rest of the school day. And I don't hear much, right? Nothing really happens. And the day ends, and me and AJ walk out of school together. We both get on our buses. And later that night, maybe around like 6 or 7 p.m., I get a call from AJ, right? And I was like, hello? And he's like, yo, I'm freaking out right now. And I was like, why? What's wrong? Is it the cookie thing? He's like, yeah, man, like, I'm just scared to go to school tomorrow, bro. I feel like I'm going to walk in and get called to the office and like get suspended or expelled or some shit. And I was like, AJ, you'll cross that bridge when you come to it, bro. Like, it's not tomorrow yet. You don't know what's going to happen. You could walk in tomorrow to school and nothing could happen, right? Like, so just chill, calm down. He's like, I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to stay calm. And I'm like, dude, just try, okay? So after this, we hang up, right? And the next day rolls around, the next morning. And this morning was pretty much the same morning as the day before. I woke up really late. This time I had time to shower, though. That was nice. I get to school. I didn't eat breakfast, so I went to the cafeteria. AJ was already in the cafeteria, so I sat down next to him with my food, and I was hanging out with him, and we were talking about, you know, just what might happen today, you know, with him and the teacher and stuff. And, you know, he was still pretty terrified, pretty anxious, but I was trying to tell him the same thing. I was like, dude, just try and relax. You know, take it class by class. If you get called up to the office, then, you know, cross that bridge when you come to it, right? And while I'm saying that to him, right, like, right as I finish my sentence, an announcement comes on in the cafeteria asking for AJ to go to the main office. And dude, his face looked so defeated. He looked like he was about to shit his pants. And I was like, bro, you're going to be okay. Calm down. He's like, dude, I'm fucked. I'm going to get expelled. I'm like, no, you're not going to get expelled, bro. Like, at worst, you get suspended for a week or something. I promise you'll be okay. I'm just trying to tell him anything that would help, right? And he gets up, he grabs his bag, and he goes to the main office. And, like, for about an hour, right, I'm just in my next class waiting for AJ to text me an update of what happened, right? And finally, after a while, he texts me. And the text just reads, I got kicked out of school. And I was like, what? So I fucking replied. I was like, what do you mean you got kicked out of school? They expelled you? He goes, kinda. I go, what do you mean kinda? And he tells me that he got moved to a different school because of this. So they didn't technically expel him because like he wasn't banned from our school forever. But he had gotten so many suspensions that just weren't working and like, you know, detentions and shit that they decided to try putting him in a different school for the rest of the year. So that's what he had to do. He had to go to a different high school for the rest of the year. He pretty much got expelled for that year because he went back to our school a year later and went there for 11th and 12th. But for the rest of 10th, he was in a different school. So yeah, that sucks for him. He got kicked out of school for the rest of the year. But the story time doesn't end there. So after texting him back and forth and just be like, oh man, like, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, good luck. Later on that day, I had English again, right? And in English, at the end of it, when I was walking out, the teacher assistant walked in and we both make eye contact and she goes, hey, Austin, right? I was like, yeah. She goes, come out in the hallway real quick. And I was like, okay. And in my head, I'm thinking like, oh shit. She brings me out there and she goes, okay, so yesterday, that cookie your friend baked, they had marijuana in them. I got uncomfortably sick and stoned and I did not feel good at all. I know how those feel, and that's exactly what it felt like. So I told the staff, and, you know, he admitted everything. He told the truth, and he's, you know, getting punished. But I just want to ask you, did you have anything to do with that? Did you, you know, make those with him? Did you, like, hand those out to anyone else? And I was like, no, I did not make them with him. I didn't hand them out to anybody else. I actually tried to stop him from handing them out in the first place to the teacher, and that's how you got it. And I didn't want that to happen. And she's like, you should have just said something right then and there so I didn't have to eat it. And I was like, I really wanted to. I was just scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to like tell on my friend and get him in trouble, but I also didn't want anyone to eat that shouldn't have. And I'm starting to like visibly freak out, right? And she's like, all right, calm down, calm down. Like, I'm okay. That's the good news. Nobody else ate any. But just in the future, Austin, tell the truth, okay? Don't lie for your friends. Because I assure you, a lot of them wouldn't do the same for you, and they'd throw you under the bus very quick. And honestly, she had a point. She had a pretty good point. There's a lot of people in this world that would not give you the same treatment you give them. So, you know, putting yourself first is important, and lying isn't good. So she had a very good point. Anyway, after talking to her for a couple of minutes, she let me go to my next class, and I just kind of thought about how crazy this whole situation was. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Fucking AJ got moved to a different school for the rest of the year. I didn't really see much of AJ after this because we were mainly school friends. So anytime I did see him, it just happened to be out at like a party or something. Not many times, to be honest. But yeah, that's the story. Pretty wild one, pretty crazy one. Thought you guys would enjoy it. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you later. Peace.